A number of the young students in this school, Parkland, organized a rally. They decided we're not going to be silent victims of the gun violence that is so pervasive in the United States. We're going to do something about it. And these are young people, they're 16, 17 years old. And today there was a march in Washington with hundreds of thousands of people. And these rallies were duplicated all around the world. And this was all because of the courage and effort of a handful of 15 and 16-year-olds who took the responsibility that so often adults had failed to take in trying to find a solution to this problem. And I think that's a testimony to what happens when young people are given opportunities. And I think all institutions have to think about how do we tap into that creativity and that energy and that drive, because it's there. It's just so often we say, wait your turn, and in the meantime, then that energy dissipates.
Hey, Kathy.
Hello.
Hey, so I really like the way that you start your morning with your kids, and I was wondering why you decided to do that.
So, the reason why I started exposing them to good morning in different languages, because a few years into my teaching, a substitute came into my room asking where the cafeteria was, and she had a very thick Indian accent. And after she went on her way, I went back to the carpet and I realized one of my students was actually mimicking her thick accent, and I was just horrified. And so from that point on, I realized it was my job and I needed to expose them to different cultures, different languages, so that that would never happen again. And of course, it hasn't since.
Nice.
And so they truly understand that people around the world speak different languages.
Nice. And about how long would you say it took your kids to learn all the different ways to say hello?
So in the beginning of the year, when they first come, we only start with English and Spanish.
Okay.
And once they had that memorized, I continue to add a language. So it takes them about a week or a week and a half to learn each one. Some of them, of course, are a little bit harder.
Right.
But it really just depends on how long how long it takes them to master the one I've given them before we move on to the next one.
Nice. And how do you feel that that gets your kids ready for the day, just kind of in a positive way, and knowing that they'll be successful for their day?
So I think it sets them up for success just because I do give them that positive affirmation where I tell them or I ask them who is capable and amazing, and they point to themselves and they say, I am. So that really shows that and then after that, I say, yes, you are. So I do confirm that they are capable and amazing. And I think just for them saying it and then getting that confirmation really, puts in their mind, I am amazing, capable, I can do anything. Because I do throw some pretty challenging things their way. So I need them to know every single morning they can do it.
I love that. Thank you so much for sharing with us.
You're welcome. I am glad you're here today.
I am glad you're here today.
Who's capable and amazing?
I am.
Yes, you are.
Good morning, buenos dias, bonjour, subaha, shamshanha, kalimera, sawadi, jonashi, maayong buntag, bon dia, good day, mate, guten morgen, salamat pagi, salamat kayen, hula hula ka,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
Hey, Julie.
Hi.
Hey, so I really like what you do in the morning with your kids, and I wanted to ask why you decided to do that.
So during the first week of school, when I was starting to get to know my students, I noticed that there was a big need for some teaching when it came to respect for each other, respect for the classroom materials in the room, and respect for adults. And I knew that just telling them wasn't going to be enough because it wasn't working so far. So I came up with this idea to have a class pledge, because we say the Pledge of Allegiance every morning and they understand what a pledge is. So I thought that if we came up with a class pledge of what I expect of them and what they should expect of each other, and we said it every morning, it kind of could be a reminder to them of what I expect and how I expect them to behave throughout the day.
Nice. And how long did it take for your kids to learn that?
Quicker than I thought, actually. So I printed out a whole page and we went through each line of the pledge because each line really had meaning for something that I thought that they needed to practice. So I printed out a whole page and we went through and we discussed the meaning of each line, and I had it on an anchor chart, and I thought that I was going to have the anchor chart up for like the first half of the year, and within the first week of school, the first week that I taught it to them, they knew it.
That's
so
really cool.
Yeah, I was impressed.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so how do you feel that, and you kind of answered this a little bit in the first question, but how do you feel that it sets your kids up for success for the day?
Yeah, so I think that with the group that I have, they really need that constant reminder. And so it's a reminder to them every morning that this is what we expect of them. I expect that you're respectful. I expect that you're working hard because today matters, which is at like the end of the video, because I really want them to understand that what they do today is going to impact them. So I think that having that daily reminder is what lets them, like, reminds them, gives them that like refresher of what they should be doing. And also the fact that it's coming from like their mouth and not mine.
Right.
So it's not like I'm the one telling them to do something, they're reminding themselves. So I think that's why they kind of have adapted to it.
I love that. Thank you so much
You're
for sharing
welcome.
with us.
3.
Today I will do my best to be my best. What I do today will make a difference in my life. My choices will affect me and those around me. I will listen. I will follow directions. I will be honest. I will respect the rights of others. I will learn something today, because today matters, and my future is built one now at a time.
Very good. All right.
Kelly.
Hey.
Hey, so she does this really cool thing with her kids in the morning, and I wanted her to share a little bit about it. Can you tell us what it is that you do to start your day and why you decided to do that?
Sure. I can't take credit for it, but we start our morning always off with a morning meeting just to kind of get everybody together all in one spot and just get ourselves revved up and ready for the day. I had watched a video a while ago from Bethany Humphreys, who is a teacher who loves music and engagement. And she had this whole song that matched with Juju on that beat. And I actually had a bunch of friends tag me in it and say I should try it with my kids. And it started off with me purely for my own entertainment, seeing them try it out. And it really revved them up. They were so excited. It just really basically reinforced all those positive thoughts that we want the kids to have throughout the day, get them excited, get them moving and waking up. It's also a really cool tool for me because I'm able to kind of see who is ready to learn and if there are any kids I kind of need to check in with. And so for me, that gave me that little piece heading into the day. And then we also end our morning meeting with a pledge and basically reinforces to the kids that they're somebody, they're important, and they're going to succeed. And that's a mantra that we use then throughout the rest of the day. If there's a kid who's frustrated, or especially if we hear any words like I can't, it's something that the kids even independently will say as a class to help pump that other student up.
Nice. I love that. And then how about in terms of how long it took the kids to learn it? Like, did it take them a while to learn the song and the pledge? Or?
They do such an awesome job. That is something that we start from day one. The first day of school, they're learning that song and they learn that pledge. And it's really funny. They catch on really quick. We usually started off with, on our Promethean board, I have the lyrics up for them usually. And we take it step by step. They learn each line. And there's 3 verses to it. So after we finish a verse, we practice it all together. Then we add in the dance motions and then their own personal touches. We rehearse it a couple times, and then it's reinforced throughout the rest of the school year. And then the pledge is really simple. What was cool this year was I had a lot of kids from summer school able to help teach the other kids out and do it as well. And the kids really attach to it, and they like it so much that it usually quickly picked up.
Nice. And then just finally, the last question I wanted to ask you is, how do you feel, and you kind of already said this, but I mean, how do you feel that it gets your students ready for the day and just feeling like they can succeed and be successful?
I think it just reinforces those ideas that we as teachers want them to have, and they feel it for themselves, and it's just that daily reminder for them. And then again, for us, seeing their reaction every morning to it gives me that extra hint of who I can help and who might need a little bit of extra support in TLC that day.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Look at the showman.
You ready?
Walk in the class and I know my teacher gets it. What? Ticky tack on it and over with it. Hey, 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 hey. Okay, let's get ready to learn. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day. It's gonna be a good day. Now slide and drop. Learning's all you got. Hey, roll over runners. Roll over runners. Everyone on your feet. Everyone on your feet. Everyone on your feet. Everyone on your feet. Now do your dance, do your dance, do your dance. Hey, you're what? It's not. You will succeed. Hey.
Awesome. Good morning, first grade.
Good morning, Miss Harrington.
Today is Monday, March 20th, 2018. Can we say it all together?
Today is Monday,
March 20th, 2018.
2018.
Can we put our hands on our hip and say our pledge all together?
I am somebody. I am important. I will succeed.
Excellent. Let's talk about our learning goals this morning, all right?